What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about Social Security benefits. We're going to address Medicare. I want to talk about how now Republicans control Democrats' plans. Now, this is not what Democrats wanted. However, this is the new situation that they put themselves in. Now, here's what I can tell you. Things over the next couple of weeks or few weeks are going to be very interesting. The reason I say this is because we now know who controls the House. It is Republicans. We now know that Democrats will control the Senate in 2023. Well, the president is still going to be the same. This means there will be some gridlock in Congress. So, what does this mean moving forward? Well, a couple of the things that we know have to get done next year. And the reason why I say next year is because, according to multiple officials, these two things are not going to be touched during this lame duck session. We know raising the national debt limit in order to avoid a debt default. This is something that must get done. And according to Nancy Pelosi, she wanted to see this year. However, that is not likely. The other one is government funding bill. According to reports, it is very unlikely to see a complete bill by the December 15th deadline. However, they are most likely going to pass a continuing resolution, so it's another CR that will push us into 2023. So that's big news there. But here's the big question mark. With Republicans now having control over the House, this means they have control over investigations. We know Republicans have already said they're going to look into the Hunter Biden laptop situation. And if reports come out like they are expected to, that the Biden administration knew about this, right? Then, and only then, we could see 2024 and the presidential election look completely different. President Biden may not be in here. We also know they're going to investigate the border situation. And over the past year or two, we have seen many reports, many pictures and videos of people stuffed in rooms down at the border. But when the current administration or Vice President Kamala Harris was asked about this, she'd say, no, this is not the case. People are treated very well. Well, Republicans are going to look into this. And again, if that's the case, and we had a bunch of issues down at the border, which I know we have, well, there's a chance we don't see Vice President Kamala Harris going for another term as well. So again, a lot of stuff happening right now. But here is what I can tell you. The fact that the House Majority Leader gets to set the schedule for the House, this is big. They also get to determine what takes priority. Again, this is huge. This gives Republicans the power that they've been looking for over the past 2 years. But for Democrats, this means that they need to move on legislation now. They have to move over the next few weeks in order to get something done. If they want to get their priorities done and accomplished, it must happen during this lame duck session. If not, then they risk not seeing their legislation even get consideration on the House for the next 2 years. So again, it's a major problem for Democrats, but this is something that we knew was coming. We knew Republicans had a chance, a high probability to gain control either over the House or the Senate. Well, the Senate is most likely going to be either 50-50 or it's going to be a 51 to 49 split. But again, we know that. We've known that for the past week. The big change is now Republicans have gained control over the House. Now, what does this mean for the fight for Social Security and Medicare? Well, before I get into this, I just want to remind everybody that open enrollment for Medicare is actually going on right now, and this will conclude on December 7th. So don't wait if you want to enroll or you want to change your benefits. Now is the time to do so. Okay, so what's going on with Social Security? Here's the two sides. Let me just give you the two sides, paint these two pictures for you really quick. First, we got Republicans. Republicans want to shore up Social Security, so expanding benefits is out of the question at this time. So that's the Republican side. Democrats want to expand Social Security and include even more recipients. But they also know that ensuring Social Security and Medicare don't become insolvent in the next 12 years, this is a must as well. So we kind of have an overlapping priority to ensure that both of these programs are available in the next 10, 15, 20, and 30 years. Okay, well, how do we do this? Well, according to White House officials, they don't believe an expansion to Social Security or Medicare at this time is even in the cards. They say it's something that they want, but it's likely not to happen. What they believe is that both parties will likely agree on ways to bring in new funding to save some money. Okay? Now again, those are two different. New funding brings in new money. Saving money means making cuts. That's not something Democrats want to do. Democrats are not planning on making a cut to Social Security or Medicare. So we got to bring in new funding. But we can't bring in new funding by raising taxes. That's something that Republicans don't want to do. And at the same time, it's something that President Biden says nobody making less than $400,000 per year will see a penny more in taxes. So again, they do have some similarities there. Now, once the new funding shores up the funds, however it may come, and again, I don't even want to speculate how they're going to bring in new funding because again, we don't know. But once the new funding comes in and shores up both of these funds, then, okay, and we go through the economic downturn. Again, that's a key piece. According to White House officials, we have to go through this economic downturn that's likely to happen. Now, they don't say recession, they don't say a depression, they say an economic downturn. They say then and only then could we see a bipartisan bill to provide additional benefits. But again, what has to happen first? We have to shore up the programs, then we go through an economic downturn, and on the way back up, as more people are working and there's more funds going back into this, right? Then and only then could we see a bipartisan bill to provide additional benefits. Now, here's the big question. I addressed this last night. I did a video on this talking about the new child tax credit payments and their additional or their new discussions, right? Because we haven't heard about new child tax credit payment discussions within Congress for many months, but now it's all coming back. Here's the big question. If Republicans are set on extending their tax cuts during this lame duck session, but they're not set on providing child tax credit payments, then what are the odds of them passing legislation to provide additional benefits to Social Security and Medicare, right? That's the question. Well, according to experts, it's possible that they could agree on some form of legislation for Social Security. But if this was a priority, okay, why didn't Democrats work on this long before the election? That's the big question. If Social Security and Medicare was a priority, getting additional benefits, shoring up the programs, why were they not working on this before the midterm elections? And the first thing we hear after Republicans have gained control over the House is Republicans want tax cuts. Well, Democrats are now asking for the child tax credit payments to be extended, right? So that's the big question. But at this time, many experts believe that Democrats are simply scrambling to try to get their priorities passed before the new Congress begins in January. And if nothing gets passed, then Democrats know that they will have to give in to Republican demands come January to see any bill even hit the floor in the House. Because Republicans know they didn't get shafted. Republicans understand that in this new Congress in 2023, they gained more power. They didn't lose any power, but Democrats lost power. Democrats lost their advantage. They swept the House, they swept the Senate, they got the presidency, they had a full sweep, But again, that's the problem. Now, they don't have that power. So, we will see what happens moving forward. What I can tell you, though, is that right now, there's going to be a lot of discussions over the next few weeks. And if nothing gets done, everything's going to get pushed back into 2023. So, make sure you go ahead, like this video if you enjoyed today's video. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I'll see you guys on the next one.